at sunrise. Automotive will treat you right. Will treat you right.
You know, that's such a nice sounding strum on that guitar. I just love the way that is mixed right there. All right, it's time for our Auto Repair with Personal Care with Matt Gibbs. Matt, of course, is from Sunrise Automotive and also from Crossroad Auto Sales. And good morning, Matt.
Morning, Larry.
How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Robin's car is right now at your garage.
It is.
And because it wouldn't start, and every time you tried to start it, it started.
I know. I hate when that happens.
So that tells you that it's your hand. Right? It's the hand that's turning the key that's the problem.
Well, I even let Philip try to start it.
Well, maybe mechanics have the magic touch.
Sometimes it seems that way.
You know, we had to start this one, and I know you hate talking about the self-driving cars, but we have a guest coming on Thursday from the show. Robin, help me out with this one again. CES, what's it called again? Consumer Electronics Show or something like that?
Okay.
I think. And one of the big things this year is cars, which cars don't normally show up at the CES. But because cars are now basically electronic devices, they're saying they're robots. Cars of the future are really robots with wheels.
Oh.
Okay? They will drive by themselves, follow your commands. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. What that tells me. So I took it a step further. That tells me that your garage will one day have robots with wheels and robots that look like women. because at the same show, in the next booth over, there's these maids that you can buy. They're robot maids that literally look like real human women. They're pretty too. Of course, they just will get your breakfast and stuff like that. That's about it. But you pay $500,000. Hey, Rosie, go get my breakfast.
$500,000. Yep. And we'll have little robot technicians.
Yeah.
Robot service riders. Robot owners. I won't have a job here for too long.
But you were saying, I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, that some of the manufacturers even use robots to put the cars together.
Yes.
Which explained why no human hand can fit in some of those spaces.
Well, I mean, it's they have robotic and laser technologies that cut out, you know, body panels of cars and stuff. But there's still people in there because, you know, okay, so like all these robots come, which is a mechanical device, although electronic / mechanical, you're still going to have people fix it.
We hope so, right?
You know?
We hope so. But there was one thing before we go to call. You have a call. There was one video of an accident, I think in Switzerland, and the interstate. I mean, the road they showed looked just like an interstate here in America. Okay, so the car that we're seeing from has a dashboard cam, and the car in front of him rear ends the car in front of him. And there's a big accident between the two of them. One of the cars rolls over, even it's bad. I'm sure somebody was really hurt or killed. But the car we're watching it from, now this was on the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel guy says, all right, let me back it up now and show it to you again. Was that for me? And then he says, listen to the beep. You hear the beep. And he says, when you hear that beep, that's the car that we're in predicting there's an accident about to happen and applying the brakes. So the car knew. So the self-driving technology actually anticipated. That's a good word. A crash and put the brakes on so it wouldn't crash into the crash. Isn't that amazing?
That is. That's nice.
Yeah. So that's one example, at least, where the self-driving technology saved somebody.
Oh, and the technology changes so quickly, so rapidly. And so widely. I mean, it's like, you know, you're here today, and you're way over here tomorrow.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is amazing. And I guess on Thursday we'll hear from them about what else is out there. But I guess it's unusual for the Consumer Electronics Show to have cars in it. I guess that's why it's the big news this year. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt. Thank you for waiting, by the way.
Good morning, Matt. This is Sonny calling.
Hey, Sonny.
Well, I finally gassed up, and let's remember that I drove I don't know how many miles before you put your magic touch to my car there. And so my overall gas mileage now was 26.69 miles per gallon, which was an improvement because I record this stuff every time I gas up, of about 3 miles per gallon. Now, the tank will really tell the story about, having your car professionally looked at by somebody who is a professional. I mean, again, I thank you, Matt, and also Happy New Year to all you guys at Sunrise Auto.
Thank you, sir. Happy New Year to you.
But I don't know if you want to comment on that, but it seems to me that tuning up a car may be different, but still effective.
Yep.
So,
Do. Bye-bye.
Yeah, another happy customer. Oops, did I cut him off? No, I don't think so. I think he hung up. Yeah, so I mean that's what we want. That's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and Sonny's the type of guy that takes care of his stuff. He takes
I'm
care.
ashamed
of
to look at you.
Huh?
I'm ashamed to look at you when you say that.
I don't know, Larry. I kind of keep an eye on the old rendezvous out there. And
Yeah?
well, you're doing a pretty good job keeping it nice. And,
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go to the phone. Push a button and say hello. Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Yeah, good morning, Matt, guys.
Morning.
Say, if you were told that your shocks are weak and you need to be replaced, what in relationship does shocks have to struts?
Well, I mean, basically, a shock is a strut. It's a strut is part of the steering. A shock is just a shock. In other words, a shock is going to be mounted, is going to be fixed at the top and the bottom. A strut is going to be attached to tie rods, and when you turn, the whole strut turns with it, and it's part of the suspension with the shock. So,
would it be a good idea that if your shocks are bad, when you change them, to change the struts too at the same time?
I mean, it depends. I mean, you look at I had a car in there yesterday that the rear, we need to replace the rear shocks. A lot of times cars have shocks in the rear, struts in the front. Some cars have struts on all four wheels. But in this particular case, something happened in the back, and it just required rear shocks. The front struts were fine. So if the front struts are fine, struts are expensive, so why replace them if they're okay? If they're leaking, yes, replace them. If the right front's leaking, don't replace just the right front, replace both of the front. If one of the rear's leaking, replace both of the rears. But you don't necessarily have to do all four. It can be very costly to replace all four. So,
yeah.
But if they need to have it done, then they need to have it done. Every car is kind of it's there's no set rule. You go in there, and I'm just a firm believer in if it's not broke, don't mess with it. So if the front ones are fine, let the front ones go.
Now, like a shock. Now, what makes a shock a shock? Is it like a liquid that would leak out, or is it full of gas or something, or what makes it do its job?
Well, it's both. It's either and or. Most of the shocks today are gas charged shocks, but you can buy a cheaper shock if you had to replace them. Let's say the factory shock goes bad and you have to replace it. When I punch on my computer and I'm looking up parts, I'll get 10 different prices and 10 different shocks for that particular car. It really depends on what you want as a customer. I can get oil-filled shocks that don't work near as well as the gas-charged shocks, but it's all according to price. It's what you want to pay for. A lot of the Chevrolet trucks, like you see the Chevrolet trucks out there, and they got the Z71 on the back, on the tailgate. Those come from the factory with Blistein shocks. Those shocks are $400 or $500 per shock. You don't have to put Blisteins back on there, but it will change the way the car performs and rides.
So, in other words, you'd be able to tell the difference between a cheap shock or an expensive one.
Yes. Yes. If you really pay attention to the way your car drives, you would tell the difference.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, the number here, if you want to call Matt, is 622-9622. We're up against the break, so let's take that break, and we'll be right back. The number to call Matt Gibbs right now, 622-WOCA. We'll be back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be very warm and humid on this Tuesday with a mix of clouds and sun and a stray afternoon shower, high 80 to 84. Mostly cloudy and mild Tuesday night, low 62 to 66. For Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sun, high 75 to 79. Thursday, partly sunny with lower humidity, high 72 to 76. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
When you go into AutoMax, Marion County's #1 pre-owned dealer for over 15 years, you won't take the new car depreciation because AutoMax saves you thousands on late model vehicles. Browse the inventory online at AutoMaxOcala.com. Then come down to see the great vehicles and upfront pricing in person. Compare up to 60 models inside the climate control showroom. So take your time. No high pressure, no gimmicks, no games. On the corner of 17th and Easy Street. AutoMax. Quality cars, outlet prices.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952. Robin, how do you like my design?
You're designing a box?
That's not a box. It's a doghouse.
Rough draft for your rough? Sounds like you need personal service.
I do?
Yes, to print the blueprints. See Mark at the Personal Service Center. He can print blueprints, notarize permit applications, print and mail out invoices, and even provide great-looking business cards.
Personal Service Center. That's the one on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, right?
Just look for the yellow signs. Your pedigree palace will be a reality in no time.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Matt Gibbs is here from Sunrise Automotive and also from Crossroad Auto Sales. I bought a car from there, and I have my car maintained there. And when I had the other car that needed fixing, I got it fixed there until it didn't work. Until you hit a cow. I know, until I hit a cow. Okay, so here's from the Consumer Electronics Show. Rob brought it to me. It kicks off Thursday. Several companies, including Fiat Chrysler, have started announcing their latest innovations. Thousands are descending on Las Vegas this week to get a peek at what's coming in robotics, connected cars. What is a connected car?
I don't know.
And more. Okay, Qualcomm, the electronic vehicle startup Faraday Future, another car company. So there's a bunch of cars there that they're interested in, I guess, talking about. But connected cars, do you think that means like a train?
No, connected cars, I think it means like connected to the internet.
Just connected to, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Talking to each other.
Yeah, maybe talking to each other or being connected to the electronic world.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Connected cars. Well, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember there was a plan to cut back on whatever by having cars drive up a ramp and then hook physically to another car and then driving down a rail until you got to your exit, and then you separate your car from the rest of the pack and go down your exit. Your face.
Why can't we just drive our car? Why's it got to be all this?
Did the Stagecoach have a rear view mirror?
No, I don't think so.
No, they couldn't tell what was behind them, huh? Could they back it up? Could they put that in reverse? The horse would have to go backwards.
The horse would have to go backwards. Don't know. I didn't live back then.
Good morning. You're on the air with Matt.
Good morning, Matt and Larry. It's Bob calling. How you doing?
Good.
Okay. I worked for a Pontiac dealer in '64, And the only pollution control device that was on the car at that time was a PCV valve. It didn't even have a catalytic converter, so it was very primitive. Still had points and condenser in it, of all things, no electronic ignition, points and condenser, and I went to Moorestown Training Center, GM Training Center, in '64 for the new model, which was a 65, and the greatest thing they thought was the Quadrajet carburetor. Do you remember those, Matt?
Yeah, I do.
Quadrajunk?
Yeah, Quadrajunk carburetors.
I just thought I'd throw that 2 cents of mine in. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Help me out with that. What was that?
What, a Quadrajet carburetor?
Quadrajet, yeah.
Quadrajet means 4, right?
Right.
So it's a 4-barrel carburetor.
So was that good or bad? Or
It didn't
last.
It lasted for a long time.
Oh, it did last.
See, because he said he went in 1965. So he went to the GM Training Center. He was there the day I was born. But actually, and that carburetor stayed with General Motors all the way to in the 90s. So they had that carburetor. Now, back in the 80s, in about 82, actually 81 and a half, they took that carburetor and turned it electronic. It started going electronic. They added a throttle position sensor that was inside of it, and then a mixture control solenoid that was inside of it. So they started adding, in the early 80s, they started adding electronics to carburetors. And then in the mid 80s is when they started coming out with fuel injection and did away with
the whole thing.
Carburetor's gone now.
You have another phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on there with Matt.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, the Stagecoach driver drove the coach, but the shotgun rider, he kind of looked all around, including to the rear, to make sure that the stage wasn't being chased by bandits.
So that was the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
It was a human being.
Yeah, he was the rearview mirror, the guy with the shotgun.
Huh. Shotgun, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'd be that guy.
Well, at least that's what the Lone Ranger said anyway.
Well, if he said it, you gotta believe it. It's gotta be
and
true.
we all know the Lone Ranger was always told the truth.
He always told the truth.
What was
Well, have a good morning, everybody. Have a good New Year.
You too.
Thank you. So no mirror. So why didn't they put mirrors on them? I mean, mirrors were invented, right?
I guess.
Just nobody thought to look behind themselves.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares if a Stagecoach had a rearview mirror? Nowadays, these cars have cameras for rearview mirrors.
I know.
You know?
It's a little confusing, isn't it?
It's getting there. It's getting confusing.
Well, when Alex, my son, rented a car when we were in New York in October, the car he rented had a camera in the back, but it only came on when he got close to something.
Or if he put it in reverse. It's a backup camera.
Right, but I thought it only came on when we got close to something. I felt like I don't remember right now.
Most of them come on as soon as you put it in reverse. They'll come on.
But it wasn't just a picture. It was yellow lines and red lines.
Uh-huh.
And the yellow lines meant, you're sort of in the danger zone. The red line means you're going to hit something.
Yep. Yeah, we install, actually, we install a lot of those on people's cars.
Do you know what I remember in my driver ed class? I hit one of those cones.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, in a slow turn. And the driving instructor said, "Why did you hit that cone?" And I said, "Well, I wasn't sure it was there." And he said, "Well, if you weren't sure, then you don't go forward." That's my rule.
Yep.
That's what I always do. So we don't need those cameras. Just practice the common sense. Give them
the cameras. Give people cameras.
Or you like the cameras?
I do. I do like the cameras.
Because
I think that's something that you can see. You can see. You've been at my shop before. Sometimes when we get some cars over there, it kind of gets congested.
Oh, that would make sense.
You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty nice when you're backing out of the shop and everything, and you can just look at the screen.
Okay, the car that parallel parks by simply moving sideways into the spot, doesn't that require a whole new set of mechanical things that can?
I don't think the tires turn 90
They
degrees.
don't. That's what I thought they did. No,
I think it actually turns the wheel and.
Oh, does it the old-fashioned way, just by computer?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Are they going to have self-driving motorcycles? Can you imagine that? You get on a motorcycle and it just drives?
Yeah, you know, at this point, Larry, as long as they have motors on them and parts,
They
and
have to have
pieces,
motors on them.
We're gonna have to learn. We're gonna be learning some new stuff. I remember when I got involved in this field, in this industry. I was a kid. You know, I was only 17 years old, and it was right, and I was fortunate. I started in this industry right when
You were, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're a real asset because you know both sides of the world.
I've seen it
of the
on both
mechanical world.
sides,
Yeah,
you know, and I've watched how everything changes, how it's just transitioned from this to this to this.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, and I'm excited about. It excites me about what's coming.
Well, I can't wait for the day that you tell me that a self-driving Uber dropped off a robot for you to fix. And here, let me show her to you, Larry. There she is.
That would be pretty cool.
Self-driving Uber.
Uber, get up on the table. We got to check your rear end.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow! It's gonna be a new world. But it's at this show. It's not like it's 10, 20 years. It's this Thursday. They're gonna reveal these things.
Yep. Here we are.
Do you know? When we were there yesterday with Robin's car, it was WOCA day at Sunrise Automotive because my car was there, Robin's car was there, and Dan's truck was there.
And Dan's car was there.
Oh, was it really?
Dan was there. No, Dan showed up.
Oh, I didn't see Dan.
Yeah, Dan's going. He's got his Cadillac down there, and he's borrowing my tools. He's on a.
Has Dan told you about his new vehicle, the one that flies? I don't mean the airplane. I mean the drone.
It's his new vehicle, you said?
It's a drone. Have you seen his drone? He hasn't told you about his drone?
No.
Oh, he's got to show you the drone. He was flying it in here.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I bought my grandson a drone for his first birthday.
And how's it working?
It's pretty cool.
Does it crash into things?
No. His dad, he's only 4.
Okay.
So I bought it because, you know, I'm the type of person, okay, with all the way that everything's changing.
Right.
My granddaughter, she was born last Christmas Day, so this was her first.
Oh my gosh!
She's 1 year old.
Right.
On Christmas Day, and she got Mom's phone out, and she's doing stuff on Mom's phone.
Oh my gosh!
She's 1 year old.
Wow.
1 year old.
I know. I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't care about grammar.
But she's messing around with a smartphone.
So the 4-year-old can fly the drone.
So we should decide. Let's get him a drone. He can take pictures of the yard, the house, and take pictures of the dog.
And was he doing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't tell Dan, because Dan was having a hard time with that drone. It crashed into me. It crashed into the ceiling fan. It hugged the wall for the longest time.
You just got to learn. You got to learn how to fly it. You know, and they got those drones now. If you're flying it, let's say, and you drop the control,
right,
it'll just stay there. It won't move. It'll just hover wherever.
Really?
Yeah. And then once you pick it up, then you start moving it again.
It was fun watching him play with it, though. It was fun watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. We're up against the end of the show. I was going to say the break, but this is the end of the show. So if you want to get your car fixed, Robin's car right now is being fixed by Matt, even though he can't figure out what's wrong with it. That's the problem. It's not doing. It's working when it's with you. That's the problem, right?
That's a problem. I need it not to work with me.
So give Matt a call if you need your car fixed. What's your number?
My number is 352-690-1993.
And don't forget, Matt also sells cars. Crossroad Auto Sales. He does all the due diligence to make sure the car that you buy has been checked real carefully.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The president-elect singles out another company in a tweet, threatening to slap a tax on General Motors for importing some Chevy Cruze